Hey, it is Kid of PAS here, Crystal Shivers, and I wanted to make a video to discuss a question that I received this week. It's actually a three-part question, and the question was, how does the alienator instill such fear? What do I do if my child says, do not contact me, come to my game, etc.? And how truthful can you be with teens? So this, like I said, this is a three-part question. I think I'm only going to focus on the what do I do if the child says do not contact me part. And to be able to address that question, I have to give some background as well. So for me, it wasn't my dad that was contacting and looking for me. It was actually his aunt. So it was my great aunt that was doing the one who was looking for me and contacting and trying to get in touch. So for me, I personally felt like I had a stalker. I felt like I was being harassed, and I found her behavior to be deeply disturbing and highly annoying. And as she continued to look for me and look for my brother, and as she continued to contact us, unwantedly, by emailing us, or once she sent the sheriff to our house. Any way that she reached out and made contact, I viewed it as harassment and unwanted contact, and her actions actually gave my mom ammo to kind of feed into that narrative of, oh, look, they're crazy. See, I told you, they're obsessed, they're psycho, they're a cult, and they want you back. You're never going to be able to leave because you belong to them. So the more she contacted us, the more she reinforced that narrative that my mom had been building for all these years against them. However, you got to think about it like this, like you're planting seeds. So sure, she kept telling me that I had been alienated and that parental alienation was happening, and that this was a form of Stockholm syndrome, and that I was being abused. And all these years I thought, oh, this lady's crazy. I even remember one night I'd gone off to college, and I was laying up late at night watching TV, and it was like I think it was a 2020 special on parental alienation. And I watched it, and I remember just thinking, wow, that really sucks for people who are going through that. And I know that my aunt has said that that was something that was going on with me, but it wasn't. So even at that point in time, I didn't realize or even acknowledge that was what was going on, but my heart did go out to people who had that as their situation. Then once my mom's behavior towards me changed and she started treating me like I was the enemy, that's when a lot of the things that my great aunt had said suddenly started to fall into place in my mind. So I say all this to say, go at it cautiously. Obviously, the third part of this question, which was, how truthful can you be with teens? At this stage, if you are alienated, there's no trust, right? So anything that you say to your child, whether they're, a teenager or whatnot, they're not going to view it as information that is accurate and truthful coming from you. They're going to view it as something that reinforces the narrative that they've already been told about you. Like, alienating parents are going to tell their children that they're trying to alienate, that, hey, if you ever do make contact with your parent or other parent, these are the things that they're going to tell you. So then if you approach your child and you're literally doing exactly what they have been conditioned to believe you're going to do, which is try to defend yourself, try to tell the truth, so on and so forth. They're aware of that narrative, even if that's the truth, they're aware of it, but they don't view it that way because behind the scenes, so many lies have been told that when you approach them and you come on full force with, your truth, all you're doing really is reinforcing this negative narrative that your ex has put in their mind. So it's this weird like catch-22 kind of thing. But you know, I think that it's important to continue to make contact. Don't try to force a relationship. That don't try to get them to engage with you necessarily. Like, oh, tell me why you won't talk to me. Tell me why you don't want me at your game. Tell me why this or that. Like, avoid anything that could lead to conflict. But definitely still reach out and let them know that you love them, that you're thinking of them, things like that. I do know that one of the things that irritated me as I got further along, like later in life, after my dad and I had made contact and then the relationship fell apart, I didn't like that the only time I heard from him was on my birthday. Like, to me, that was an annoyance, and I kind of got to the point where I dreaded my birthday coming up because I'm like, oh, this is the one day out of the year he's going to reach out to me. So definitely do tell your child happy birthday, but don't let that be the only time of the year that you do reach out. Don't let it just be big occasions and holidays. If you're going to be reaching out to your child and you're going to be trying to be, building this relationship with your child, develop it, cultivate it. Don't just reach out when it's convenient because it's a holiday and you want to tell them, happy holiday. I think, just like I said, be smart about it, because ultimately what I had been told and what I had heard over the years from my great aunt about parental alienation, it stuck. It did, it had its impact on me. It might have taken years for it to, finally click for me, but it wasn't something that was, it didn't not have any impact is what I'm trying to say. And then, so go ahead and do reach out. If you want to tell them about parental alienation, tell them about it. Like, that's fine, whatever. But don't reach out just on holidays, and definitely don't try to engage in any sort of conversation that could result in an argument, because that's not what you're trying to do. You're just trying to let them know that you're thinking of them, that you love them, and that you still want to be in their life. So I hope that makes sense. It's a lot to think about, and I've been asked this question probably hundreds of times over the last few years. And I've written a lot of emails trying to explain it to people, but I thought that this would be an easier way to answer that question of what do you do when your kid doesn't want contact with you? And, hopefully this resonates, and hopefully it makes some sense, and hopefully it helps people. So thanks.